Back at you and gloves off, and today we have a great guest, Judge Jesus Chuy Dominguez. How are we doing, Judge?
Good. How are you, Paul?
Good, good. How's everything?
Very good.
I
Can't
know.
complain.
Yeah, and we got a bunch of stuff coming forward, right, in the next couple of months.
Well, we got an election coming.
Exactly. And how do you feel about that? How do you see everything?
I feel very good about the election. The campaign's going great. We've been able to attend a lot of the events that are been going on and trying to bring out the vote. We've been able to meet a lot of groups and go to different places to see people. We've been to different homes that have opened their doors to us and talking to different individuals. And we've been to schools, we've been to churches, we've been a lot of places to go and spread the word out that we need to get the vote out.
Okay. How did it come of age? How did it come of age with say, you know what, I think I'm going to go ahead and try for this position? When did you decide? When did you say, you know what, I think I can do a change. I think I can serve my community in that format as being municipal court judge?
Okay, this is an open seat.
Okay.
And what happened was last year when I decided, I met with the family, sat down with them, and discussed the idea of me running for that office. And through some deliberation and talking with my wife, she encouraged me to do it. She was with me the first time, when I ran the last time for court. She was one that was she was my support. Sure. And she was able to see what needed to get done, and she's the one that's keep me focused and knowing that we were going to be able to get it done. And then talking to my brothers, my mother, extended family, I think I felt a sense of encouragement to do it. Talk to friends, and here we are.
Sure, sure. And and you've always been involved in not only in politics, you've also been involved within the courts, and you've also been involved within the community since for a long time.
Well,
and so it's to see somebody that's been like that all of a sudden say, you know what, I'm going to try. It's expected.
Well, let me tell you, I've been a practicing lawyer for the past 21 years. I've been in this community for 21 years. I have a general practice. I've tried several criminal cases at the misdemeanor level, at the felony level, at the federal level. I've tried them in this city. I tried them in other cities. I've been throughout a lot of different courts throughout Texas. I've handled cases in at least 5 or 6 different states in the United States.
Sure.
So I've been exposed to a lot of the court systems, and what I've been exposed to, I've seen what can be done and how Laredo can come up to that level of service in the judiciary, and that's what I want to bring to the court here in Laredo. I want Laredo to be exposed to what the big cities are exposed to. I want their time in court to be a pleasant one. I want to minimize the wait time at the courthouse. There's a lot of mandated forms that need to be filled out by the people that visit the court, and that's time consuming. It takes a lot of time for people to fill out the forms when they first get to the court. And then once they fill out the forms, then they're taken into the courtroom, and then they're seen by the judge or the prosecutor, depending on how they want to dispose of the case. And what I want to do, I want to streamline that process. Right now, the wait time might be anywhere between an hour and a half to 2 hours that one might take at municipal court. And what I want to do is streamline it and be able to get you in and out in 25 minutes. I want to be able to do that within my first year in office. And that's my goal in seeing. And I think we're programmed to start that in October of this year, October 1st, when the new fiscal year starts. There's a program that's already been purchased, or there's an order already made for the program to be implemented. And this implementation of the program is going to be an expansion to the program that exists now. We have a Tyler program, which is called Encode. And basically, Encode is a case management program for municipal courts. And what this does, it works hand in hand. As you can see now, when you get a ticket by the police department, when they stop you, it's an electronic ticket.
Sure.
So that electronic ticket itself, it automatically populates the docket at the municipal court. And those notices and everything is done through that part of the software. What I want to expand on is being able to do more than just pay online at this time.
So right now, a person can pay online if he has a ticket.
As of April of this year, the court implemented a pay online to dispose of their cases. A lot of people, they feel that they're guilty and they want to be responsible and they want to pay.
Sure.
So they end up just in noticing that they can pay online. All they do is just get on their computer, go to the municipal court website at the city of Laredo, and once they get on, they'll see a little link that says make payment, and they can make the payment, and it disposes of their case.
But not only, the municipal court not only covers traffic violation, it covers other citations as well from the city, correct? Would those also be implemented there or no?
Let me tell you, the municipal court is a court of very limited jurisdiction.
Okay.
It's not like the courts, the state courts or the other courts that we get to see more on TV than
Sure.
the ones out here. Basically, this is an administrative court. It's a court of limited jurisdiction. It only sees Class C misdemeanors that are fine only. And a fine can be anywhere from up to $200 or $500, depending on the violation. It takes care of traffic law violations, and it also takes care of city ordinances. Okay. And the city ordinances that we do see is anything with code enforcement because of trash or because of environmental or because of something doing with signs. And those are the tickets that people do get and end up there at the municipal court. So those are the ones basically that one gets to see, those type of cases.
Right. But only the ones that you can pay online are the traffic ones, not the other ones.
You're going to, right now, you're able to pay online the tickets if they're due, if you make a payment before the ticket date.
Okay.
If one gets past the ticket date, basically the portal itself will not allow you to make a payment. And that makes it, because it'll make you go to court to see what we call here in the legal world a show cause. Why is it that you were not able to make or show or go to court at the time you were supposed to? So automatically it'll shut down. Right now, we're trying to work with the programmers and seeing how we can be able to do not only the full payments but partial payments toward tickets that are owed. With this program, it populates not only the existing ticket that is there, but also tickets that maybe people have forgotten, people that believe that they had been taken care of and were not taken care of, or tickets that by mistake or some way somehow fell through the cracks and then ended up being there again. And those need to be resolved. So they won't let you resolve them there online to make the payment, because if you already paid for it, why pay for it twice? So it allows you to go to court and then dispute it if you have a legitimate dispute, and say why you should not pay for that ticket, and give your reasons why. And that's why it will not accept that those type of payments, because it's one that gives the taxpayer and the persons that are the defendants the opportunity to go and take care of their tickets.
Correct. Now, when we look, the court has changed. At first, it was not a court that now you need to be an attorney.
Well,
And before, it wasn't that. What happened there? What was the transaction there? What
Before-
occurred, if you can show a little bit of the history?
yes. Historically, Laredo had the court. It was a municipal court, and everybody remembers Judge Vicente Molina.
Sure.
And I think he was a teacher there at
LCC.
at LCC. Well, junior college.
Junior
because
college, yeah,
he
junior
was a
college.
teacher there when I was there back
Yeah,
in
yeah.
back in '82, and he was a judge, and he was a lay
a long
person,
time.
and he was there for a very long time. I believe there were no terms back then, and then they implemented the term limits, and that's when I believe Judge Ben Morales ended up going into the municipal court, and while being there, and then he ran for office for County Court at Law 1, and then it was Judge Wawi
Right
that
after
ended
that.
up taking a one term, because she ended up running for office, and so she needed to step down, and then it was Judge
Boyer
Boyer
Nelas.
Nelas.
Yeah.
And in his term, that's when the court changed from being not being a court of record into being a court of record. And the difference is that once you became a court of record, then you needed to be an attorney to run for that office. Before, any lay person could have run to be a judge, like we have now with the Justice of the Peace.
Right.
That anybody really can go run for that type of office. It could be a lay person, it could be a lawyer, but it doesn't have to be one or the other in order to be the judge. It can be either.
Right.
And now we have an attorney to be the judge.
Okay, so that was a huge change, and now the next change, if you win, is to change it to bring it up at least for a little bit more modernized efficiency level for this court,
Well,
administrative wise.
Except what I want to do is expand on the programs that we do have. We don't want to overburden our city already. I think the taxpayers overburdened already with a lot of costs.
Sure.
And you see taxes going up all the time, and we want to help in every way we can. This program that the court now has and has been using, it's very instrumental in seeing that you can do more with a lot less. You don't need to invest a lot of big money in order to have the result that you would need in order to have a real a court that's managed very efficiently. You're going to see with the program, once we get the program, you're going to be able to go on the web, and there's going to be portals that you're going to be able to sign in through the ticket, through your name, through date of birth, and so on and so forth. And once you're in, what I'm seeing that can be done, because I've seen the program and I studied the program, being that I'm there, and seeing what is it that the knowledge that I've been gaining in order to see the implementation of that program, you're going to be able to dispose of a case through the portal. You're going to what I'm looking forward to, and what I'm seeing that can be streamlined, is that you're going to be able to sign in. You're going to be able to have a choice how you want to dispose of the case. They're going to give you the opportunity to say guilty, not guilty, no contest, and then move forward to another part of the portal once,
Sure.
depending what you want to do. And if you want to plead a not guilty, you can request a bench trial, you can request a jury trial. But that in itself, once you do all those requests, well, then you're going to have to come in person
Of course, yeah.
and take care of your business with the court through a bench trial, or through a jury trial. But what it makes this program and the implementation of it, eventually it will be some type of paperless program. So what I'm looking forward to, all these mandated cases or mandated forms that need to be filled out and reports to send to Austin, I want to be able to put them on the webpage so you can be able to download them, or you're going to be able to fill them out on the portal, on the page, and then just submit them through a portal. So it's going to be electronic filing. So it's going to, in itself, the case management is going to start saving all these documents. So say, for example, you want to take a defensive driving class. You haven't taken a defensive driving class, and it's show you the requirements of taking it or for applying for it. If you haven't had a class in the past year and you want to take care of your ticket with the defensive driving, well, it's going to give you the option to do it. And if you qualify for it, then you'll be able to pick it, and it's going to give you the requirements of the documents that you need. You're going to have to submit a certificate of completion. You're going to have proof of insurance. You're going to have some type of community service, maybe that might be applicable to you, either 2 hours, 4 hours. It all depends how it's tailored to the type of offense that you know, or the violation that you committed. And once you do all those things, you're going to be able to upload it from your home, all those documents. And once you upload all those documents, it'll automatically go to your case file. And once your case file is fulfilled, then the judge can see it online, and he'll be able to dispose of that case and seeing if your case is going to get dismissed because you completed the program. So
Sure.
that's going to save a lot of time for a lot of people, because now it's going to be an interactive court, and really all the questions are going to be answered once you're getting to be online. But you're still going to have the traditional people that would like to go in person and want to talk to the judge,
Sure.
or want to talk to the prosecutor, and that option is always going to be open. My plan is to have that court open to the people. I've always been a people person, and I believe that the court is in need of an associate judge and maybe even another associate judge, because my plans are to break up the courtroom into at least 2 or 3. If you've ever been to the courtroom, Paul, you can see it's one of the biggest courtrooms in the city of Laredo. It's the one that deals with the smallest type of offenses, but it's the one that has the more,
Sure.
the biggest courtroom, the more square footage of all. I think if you're able to use the courtroom efficiently by having 3 other people handling cases, you're going to see the process being streamlined, your visit at the courthouse being more pleasant, because your wait time is only going to be, what my goal is, between 25 and 30 minutes.
Sure. So right now, let's change a little look at the whole administrating, prosecuting, and the bench. Okay, we look at all of them. Are you the one that hires everybody that comes in? Or are you the one that says, okay, this is a prosecutor? Or does a municipal court get its prosecutor from?
Let me tell you, the way it works is the court is an administrative judge.
Sure.
This is an administrative court. And basically, the judge is there to interpret the law and dispense justice.
Right.
And that's the job of the judge there.
Right.
The job of the judge is not to do anything else but that.
Okay.
What's handled in the courtroom or in the courthouse and back where all the clerks are at, that's handled by city management.
Okay.
City sends a court clerk, and the court clerk has 16 assistant clerks at this time. And the 16 assistant clerks at this time are handling all the tickets, all the paperwork, all the community service hours, all the payments are going through all of them. And then the closing of the cases, and then the filing the reports that need to be sent to Austin or to the city manager. That's how it's handled. So the judge does not hire anybody in the clerk's office. However, I believe right now the judge is going to be able to hire, at least, I think through the last city, few months back, city council had authorized the judges and in the court to hire 2 bailiffs and 2 warrant officers. But because of the freeze that was handed down by our city manager, those positions haven't been filled.
Okay.
And those positions, once filled, but they're going to be able to be administering
Sure, their duties.
the duties under the judge.
Right.
But at this time, those are the only ones that are under the judge. What I want to do, I want to expand a couple of more of the program of the community service. As you know, the community service is very important for the administration of justice because a lot of people that do get a ticket are not able to afford to pay for the ticket.
Of course.
And if one makes a finding of a defendant or a person that comes in front of you that's accused of a violation and he wants to plea and he wants to satisfy and dispose of his case, other than with money, he can have the option, if he's found indigent, to do it with community service and pay for his infraction through
Under
community
the
service.
service.
But once we start implementing all these programs or the software, we're going to be able to have people more dedicated toward the community service. And what I want to do for the taxpayer is there's some city departments that are short on personnel because of the freeze, and they're not able to fill in those positions. And there's a lot of people that want to give back to their community. They know they did some wrong and they want to do it right. And at the end of the day, they want to do it to community service. So once we get all those things organized and streamlined, you're going to see how these people are going to be able to do the community service for the same fee as an employee. And then you'll be able to supplement and help out where the need is, where the need is for employment. That could be at parks, that can be at the animal shelter, that there's always a need for
Sure.
for volunteers, and you're going to see that the city doesn't have to spend money on employment or benefits because it's being supplemented by people that are willing to pay for that part of the fine. And in doing so, it's a win-win for everybody. It's a win for the city. It's a win for the individual because he feels that he did something in paying back for the community. And it's something that's very rewarding for them at the end of the day because they see that they made a change. Once you see a painted wall or a clean street and you see what is it that you're doing for the city of Laredo. Getting involved with the community is very important. And the implementation of that program to supplement, I think it would be tremendous for the city of Laredo.
If that could be done, that'll be a step forward. And if yeah, it'll be a great step forward if all that can be put together.
Well, in my experience, I've done it in the past. In before I went to law school, I was a probation officer, and one of the programs that I was helping out with was with the community service.
Sure.
And you can see what is it? It was a program called, and I remember back, it was a weed and seed type of program where you would take these people that have made some infractions, they wanted to pay back, they couldn't afford to pay the fines, couldn't afford to pay the court costs. So the judges would give the opportunity, go do some community service hours, go do 15 hours, 24 hours, 30 hours, and see how rewarding it is. It make him a sense of belonging to community. There were parks that were fixed when I was living in San Antonio, and you can see how the green spaces were being helped. There were graffiti that was being erased from all over the city because of all these programs. And because of those programs, the city was able to save a lot of money. The county was able to save a lot of money. And it's like I tell you, it's a win-win at the end of the day.
Sure, sure. What do you see now, and you say, you know what, I wish I could change it. Ya lo dijiste. We wish I can change it. Because right now we're getting a lot of individuals that are getting texts to go inside, and all of a sudden they're claiming that they're being arrested and so on and so forth, and they were never told that they had an outstanding ticket. What's going on with all that?
Well, let me tell you, the courthouse is a place of safe harbor.
Sure.
And as I'm sitting down with you right now, I believe a judge is having a press release right now saying that there's an amnesty program that's going to be implemented. The courthouse has always been a safe harbor. If you voluntarily come in and turn yourself in and saying, you know what, I've had this outstanding for a few years, I've had all these cases, all these tickets that need to be taken care of, what can I do? There's always the option of doing a payment plan. And we are willing to work with you all the time. People are not going to get arrested when you come in and turn yourself voluntarily. That's a step forward that you're doing and see something in good faith. We want people to take care of their livelihoods by getting back their licenses. Their licenses get suspended, or their licenses get a notice of non-renewals because of what's outstanding. You go to the website, failure to appear in Texas, and you're going to see all the outstanding violations one might have. And once you see those violations, well, you need to take care of them. And if you take care of them, you're going to be able to renew your license. And you renew your license, you're not going to get arrested, because believe me, you're out there driving without a license, or while your license is suspended, you don't want to go to jail for an administrative offense.
Sure, sure. So that, and now we have what there's a program coming up of age, right? That
The amnesty program.
what's going on with that?
The amnesty program is basically you come in and saying, I haven't been reporting to the court, or I haven't reported, and I got scared because I thought I was going to go to jail, and I don't have the money to go to jail. So, but I want to take care of my situation. So you end up going to the courthouse and you tell the court, I'm here, I got all these things that are standing. How can I help myself in taking care of this? And most of the time, you'll be given a payment plan.
Okay.
And it can be satisfied either with money or with community service,
Okay.
depending on the situation, on your financial situation.
So nobody's getting arrested right now.
People are not getting arrested if you present yourself to the courthouse. The courthouse has always been a safe harbor.
Okay. Because that's what many were complaining or maybe afraid of. So I'm glad you cleared that one up.
And we don't want people to be afraid to show up in court with outstanding tickets. It's always better when you go in voluntarily. You don't want to get picked up on a traffic violation and then they run your history and they end up saying that you have arrest warrants because you haven't been appearing in court. If it's during working hours, what the police officers are doing regularly now, they basically take you into the courthouse,
Right.
with the outstanding warrant instead of taking you to jail during working hours. And during those working hours, you'll be able to resolve the situation of their warrant.
Okay. Okay. We spoke about there's a couple of jobs that are on freeze right now. Okay, the bailiffs and the warrant officers.
Yes.
Are those going to be chosen from the Laredo Police Department, or they're going to be chosen from abroad?
Well, I believe they were tailored already, or the qualifications were put out on the website, and there were people that can come in and apply for it. The police officers, as you can see, they have a lot of things to do other than sit down and do security at a courtroom. But it is needed. Security in courtrooms are needed all the time. You don't know what type of people
Sure,
will be
of course,
coming in
of
or
course.
not. And there's always, people like to have a very safe working environment. And at the end of the day, the people that are going to be hired, that were expected to be peace officers, yes. And some of the people that were applying were either people with not any experience in being a peace officer, or people that had already retired from different agencies that wanted to come in and do another job as some type of work. And we encourage those type of people because they bring a lot of experience because of all the time that you've been out there working for our community. Well, we appreciate that type of service, and we would like that type of service because we know what experience you can bring in to the courtroom.
Sure. So the final date is November 6th, right?
That's correct. November 6th is the final date. October 22nd is the beginning of early voting.
So what are you doing now? ¿Qué vas a hacer? You know what? I'm going to go out there and I'm going to hit this because I think that's what I need to do.
Well, we do what needs to get done. We need to go out there and send our message. We need to be out there and talk to the people. We need to be out there and show them why is it is important for people to vote. I think it's the people want to put the people that are experienced in order to be the person that's most qualified in the position, because at the end of the day, it's going to be the person that's going to be able to save them time and money at their experience in the courtroom.
Here's another one that we can kind of look at. The new court that's coming in. We have 3 good attorneys that are coming inside, you and your other 2 candidates, okay? And How do you see that, all in general? Somebody's scared, we're all friends, we're all going forward. Has this been an amicable campaign or?
Well, for the most part, I'll tell you, I think everybody's kept a very clean campaign. Everybody's been talking about what is it that they're going to be able to bring into the courthouse, what experience they have, and they'll be able to talk about their experience. They'll be able to educate the people on what is it that they want to bring into the courtroom. I think it's very important for the people to know the person, their qualifications, their experiences, and how is it that they're going to impact the court, and how is it that's going to be an improvement of what exists. Because at the end of the day, it's not going to be an 180 change at the courtroom. What you want to do is always make it something more of a pleasant experience, and that's been the message that I've been trying to tell the people. I've been telling the people, your experience at the courtroom, I want it to shorten. I want it to be 25 minutes to 30 minutes like it is when I experienced going to court in other cities. You see the city of Corpus, you see the city of San Antonio, and the Corpus is very comparable to ours. I think we have almost the same amount of population.
Sure.
But you see almost the same amount of tickets that they do. But their process is streamlined because they're taking advantage of all more things in the software that exists right now that we're going to be expanding on to be compatible to that type of city.
So basically, you want to move the city forward and technology-wise for it to save time. That's the main.
The main thing is we want to make your experience at the courthouse to be pleasant, not to be one that's it's a fear of going because either you think you're going to be there for 2 hours, 3 hours, so on and so forth, or that you're going to be treated like if with no that they're not having any respect toward your time. I expect and what I guarantee people is that I'm going to be very fair, that it's going to treat them with dignity and with respect to the person, but also respect to their time.
Sure. Now, in the last couple of elections that we've had, okay, the voter turnout has been going down. Okay. A lot of 21% was the last one. There's a lot of disgruntled feelings with the voters. How are you going, or what do you think we need to do to bring out those voters?
Well,
Do you actually think, because everybody thinks that there's some kind of fraud going on or some kind of nefarious actions going on. How can we change that in the tune of the voter that's out there?
well, you can see it two ways. And Paul, I have a master's in political science, and I studied the issue of apathy in the past. And when you look at apathy, it can be twofold. It can go to that extreme, or it can go to the other extreme, that people are very happy with government, and they like the way the process works, and they like the way, and they're happy with the people that are in government, because people take for granted bureaucracy, and what bureaucracy is the biggest form of government that exists in our society, and that branch does not run, and it's the continuous of our government. When people run for office, they're just filling in certain heads of what the bureaucracy is and want to make policy toward the running of bureaucracy. So for the most part, people don't vote sometimes because they're happy with government, or they don't vote because they distrust government and their vote's not going to make a difference.
Sure.
So how is it that you reconcile both extremes toward one end of ending apathy? And you need to see how can I make this race a little bit more interesting so I can get the vote out. And in seeing and in talking to people, a lot of people, as you can see, are happy with the way things are, and some people are not happy with the things they are, and the only way they're going to be able to change it is with a vote. So we need to send the message out. I'm going to be the best person that's going to be there. I can guarantee to you, I'm going to treat you that I'm going to be fair. I'm going to treat you with dignity and respect. And showing the message of and the plan of what I'm trying to do, I think that in itself will give the people the alternative to vote for me and saying, you know what, we want to vote for Chuy Dominguez because this is his plan, and it's a good plan, and I think it's going to move the city forward.
Good idea. But let's see if it works, because I see a lot of disgruntled voters out there and people that I've seen the numbers dwindle down. We'll see now what's going to happen in a couple of months, in 2 months' time. We'll see what's going to actually happen with the vote. If it stays the same, then we really have a problem.
Well, look at the numbers from the 2016 or the 2014 general election. If you look at the numbers from the 2014 general election, you're going to see there was a little bit closer to 27,000 people that came out to vote in the general election. And you're saying, what happened in the 2014 general election? Why only 27,000 people came out to vote? Then you look at the 2016, which is a presidential year, and how many people came out to vote in that one? Well, 52,000 people came out to vote. People are very concerned with those type of politics where they can think they can make a difference. And people wanted to make a difference at the national level at that time. The local level, for the most part, and seeing there's going to be controverting views on why there's apathy. And I can tell you, people, for the most part, are happy with the way governments run. And they sit back and let other people come out and do the voting for them. And it's basically sometimes a vote of confidence. But people, because of the no vote, say, well, it's a vote of no confidence. And it just depends the way you see the problem.
That's a good viewing system, and hopefully it changes. Hopefully it changes. I hope people vote. I hope they exercise their right to vote, because I think we need a little bit more. Not because we have people that are not good in there. We need more change. We need more. How can I put it? We need more people to go out there and exercise their right. Because we have a lot of people that complain, and when you look at if they voted or not, they didn't vote. And you're like, well, then quit complaining. Understand what I'm saying?
But you want people to complain because that keeps everybody on their toes. At the end of the day, even if they don't vote and complain, well, that's their voice, and that's their right to go and complain about what needs to get complained about. And it gets people to talk, and you want the dialogue to keep on going. And that's what we encourage. If you don't vote, well, that was your right not to vote at the end of the day.
Sure.
And you have a right to vote. But just because you didn't vote doesn't mean you cannot complain.
Sure.
Of course you can complain.
Of course, that's what I'm saying. But I understand where it's coming from. But what have you heard of any complaints that are in the court right now that you're going to say, you know what, Sabes, this is really what I need to change? Have you heard of anything?
No, really. What I've heard, what I've looked at, and the problems that I've seen, or what people have asked, and what people want to do. They want the opportunity to have their day in court. People want to come in and tell their story at the end of the day. And people want quick disposition and resolution of their cases. The longer the delays are in delaying their cases, you're delaying justice. And for them, believe me, there's a lot of people there that don't have but one ticket and end up they're in the courthouse. And for them, it's like if it was a big federal case. And they're very compromised and they feel real bad and they want to dispose of it. And most of the time, they're going to be able to get disposed of. And what I'm trying to do is trying to streamline it. They're going to get disposed, but we want to get them to get disposed in a more streamlined manner, a little bit faster than what it is right now, because a lot of things that we're doing right now at the courthouse are being done manually. And then once we start going paperless, and you're going to be able to do it with the portals and then the interactive, well, you're going to see that things are going to be moving a lot faster, and people are going to be a lot more pleasant, and people are going to be saving a lot of money. What I see right now, the court's averaging a lot of the money that is collected either goes to the state, and part of the other money goes to the general fund. But the court itself is self-sufficient. There's a budget between 1.6, 1.7 million for the court to run, but the court at the end of the day ends up generating a little bit over $5 million. And what is it that you do with all those monies? Well, a big chunk goes to the state, The other chunk goes to the city, and not even a percentage of it stays in the court. Nothing stays in the court.
So
Or a
everything
little does stay in the court. I don't mean nothing, but there's
it's a minute fraction of what it is.
it's nominal what stays in the court.
Sure. And there's one thing that was told to me and about all these amnesties that go on. It goes, they always happen right before there's a budget. They're trying to bring in more money for people. Is that true or not true?
Well, it's not that they're trying to bring in budget for more people or not. The court is not one. It's not revenue making, and people need to understand that. At the end of the day, you don't have the money, and the people that are given the opportunity to come in for amnesty are the people that end up doing the community service, or they end up doing a payment plan. And the payment plans are anywhere, usually the common one that I see, it's a $50 a month payment plan. So tell me, how is it that you're going to be budgeting or balancing a budget with that type of money that you're bringing in?
Understood. Is there any special, like say you have a veteran, is there any special, not discounts, how can I say, services for veterans if they come in and they can't pay? Or is there any special, or it's all parejos within everybody?
What I want to do is basically treat everybody with fair dignity and respect, treat everybody fairly, equally, be impartial, and not treat any type of person special or not. At the end of the day, it's going to be on a case-by-case basis. Each of them have a story to tell, and once all that is taken into consideration, well, disposition can be made.
Understood. Anything else you'd like to tell your community out there?
Well, like I said, I'm Jesus Chuy Dominguez. I'll be on the ballot for November 6th as your municipal court judge. I want to be your next municipal court judge on the things that I've been running for, on the qualifications. I've been an attorney for the last 21 years. I've been practicing for 21 years in this community. I belong to several boards. I've served the city in capacities of commissions that I sat in the City Charter Review Commission for a few times. We dealt with the revision of the charter toward the municipal court 2 times. Once when we changed to making it a full-time job, and the next when we dealt with the associate judges, giving one to the municipal court, to the judge to nominate, and the other one for the city manager to nominate with the confirmation of the city council. And in looking at all those things, how the implementation of those ordinances or the charter amendments that we did were able to pass, it makes it a lot better for the court to run. And every time we're open for ideas, all the time, seeing how we can make the court better for our citizens here in Laredo, and to make it something that's going to be, again, a pleasant experience.
Sure, those are good points. Good points. I'm gonna continue a little bit because you said associate judge. If you come in, you want to break it up and have more associate judges.
Yes.
How would that work in comparison?
Basically, right now,
How many associate judges are?
there can be two associate judges under the charter.
Okay.
The charter gives the judge the opportunity to nominate one and to get one confirmed by city council. The other one can be nominated by the city manager and then confirmed by city council. What I want to do is exercise and get those associate judges in our administration of justice. And having those judges there is going to give the opportunity to move the cases a lot faster. People want their cases disposed of
course.
as soon as they get the opportunity
Sure.
to do it.
Once they find out they have to be there, they don't want to be there anymore, so they want to get out of there.
And if you have those, if you have the judge available to hear trials, because I have the experience, I've done the trials. If you have one judge that's going to be doing trials, one other judge handling the pre-trials, and the other judge handling initial appearances, each one in itself would be able to dispose of cases at every level that of the process of the case. So you can get rid of cases the first time you go, the second time you go, or the third time you go. And it depends where is it on your case that you'll be able to dispose of.
Correct. And that's something that you're going to try to shoot for.
Well, that's what I'm looking at. And with the implementation of the program, the implementation once we're able to streamline the case management and we're able to load up all those portals, San Antonio, let me tell you, San Antonio, you can appear in San Antonio court right now if you're from out of town via Skype. And there's a judge exclusively for Skype hearings. So you get on and you can dispose of your case by Skype. That saves a lot of time for the people for driving up 150 miles,
Of course.
coming down 150 miles, going down 20 miles here in Laredo, just driving from one part of Laredo to the other side of Laredo, just going to the courthouse if you want to appear through Skype. But that's in the future. I cannot talk, I don't want to say that it's going to happen next year
Sure.
because we want to implement these parts of the program first. But eventually, within the term that I'm in, yes, we're going to, one of our judges will be able to do cases on Skype.
You know, because that's where the future's going. See, a lot of people don't understand that everybody does their business on their phone. Everything's on everything's on the phone. I mean, 10 years ago it wasn't that way. 15 years ago it wasn't that way. So now, yes, you can text and so on and so forth, but the technology has really advanced so much, and it's going to advance more. Okay, so we need to have that type of capability that it's going to make things a lot easier. Okay? And not only that, in other departments should come up.
Well,
with it.
let me tell you, the city manager has been talking about texting notices. They want to inform the citizens of Laredo of events that are coming up in the city, and they want to notice people through text. Well, that's an idea that came out through the municipal court. Part of the program, now you get notices through text of when your court date's at. We don't have that in the other courtrooms right now because you rely a lot on what your lawyer's telling you of
Sure.
when your court date's at and when you need to go to court. But most of the people that show up here in this court will show up without a lawyer. So they'll get noticed. They'll get a phone call when they need to go to court. Then if they don't show up for court, they'll get a text and remind them when is their court date or when they need to make a payment or when the deferral period is going to be over and they need to complete whatever needs to get done, either community service or make the payment. And then the last one, they end up sending them a paper notice, a paper letter saying that if you don't come by the court, a failure to appear letter will appear and a warrant might be issued. And basically that's the implementation of 3 different type of notices. But it's important to know that we are moving forward because everything you do, you get it on the phone. And if one of the texts that you do get is a reminder that you need to go to court and you're able to do the business on your phone, well, believe me, you'll dispose of the case right then and there.
Yeah, yeah, that's the easy way. How can I say, making things a lot faster? That's what needs to be done. But that's, you brought up something about warrants. I was talking to two, and they were talking about what's going on with. They were called into the court, and they were called into the court, and they were set aside, and they took their driver's license off, and they said, "Well, you have a warrant." And goes, "You have to pay the ticket," and they paid the ticket, and they left. And then they said, "You have to come back because you failed to appear in court." He goes, "But I already paid the ticket." "No, you paid the bond." What is going on with those stories that I heard? Is that something that is an urban legend, or that's something that's going on, or is somebody just not misinformed?
I have no knowledge of what has happened. I have not been there when things like that have happened. What I've seen, that people come in with a warrant or with a warrant officer or with a police officer, we take care of them right then and there. We either get a resolution on either on a payment plan, or we set them up for trial if they end up pleading not guilty. And if they plead not guilty, then they end up posting a bond, and they get noticed. You're going to get noticed, and they tell you you're leaving $200 right now because that's the amount of the fine on the ticket. That's the bond money that you have. You appear, you fight your case, you get a not guilty, the not bond money will be returned to you. If you get a guilty or you end up pleading guilty, the bond money would be converted into the fine and taken care of. But they don't end up paying a bond and then a fine. That's not true.
Okay. So those are urban legends.
I believe so. I believe so.
And everything else, anything besides everything else, okay, what do you like to see with the youth? Do we have a lot of youth that go in there and trouble? What's going on with the youth?
Yes.
What can we battle, or we can try to prevent from our youth not being cited and going into the court?
Well, it's not that they don't get cited because people are going to be do things that are
Sure,
not supposed to.
of
They're
course.
going to break curfew. They're going to be drinking where they're minors, so on and so forth. They're going to end up getting some type of classy misdemeanors and showing up in court. They'll show up with the parents. Some people shoplift. Some people do other things, but they end up being classy misdemeanors, and they end up going to municipal court. There's the teen court, and through the teen court, there's the way you can dispose of a case. There are going to be certain things that might be assessed to you, either some type of classes, drug classes, or drug test,
Depending on what,
depending on what type of offense it is. And you're going to be able to do that, satisfy that, and then those cases are going to get dismissed, and those cases can get expunged. Let me tell you something that just changed in the last legislation. One of the things that changed in the legislation was that people can now make applications for occupational driver's license at the municipal court. People are going to be able now to expunge the records, their Class C records, at a municipal court. Teens can get expungements automatically, even if they plead guilty to it, and even if they do some type of probation, they can still get their records expunged or sealed, or so on and so forth, whatever fashion it is. Adults can get their records expunged also on Class C misdemeanors. There's certain procedures that need to be followed, and it's better if you're able to talk to a lawyer that can give you that type of advice of what you need to do. But there's a lot of vehicles that are going to be open to. Teen court's very important, and we want to continue with that type of program.
good. I've always been more for preventative, try to prevent kids from kind of following that road. And I think everything that we see now, it's more like they've already done it. Let's stop them from doing it again. But I think we should prevent it somewhere along the line.
And let me tell you, I've been invited to different schools and in different youth programs, and to go and spread the word of how is it that they can prevent and what is it that they prevent once they abstain from either using drugs or using alcohol or misbehaving and not listening to parents. Everything starts at home.
Sure.
And if the parents are supervising their children well, with the aid of the people at school, with role models, those children end up being okay, and they're going to end up being productive citizens. There's some people that are not going to be productive citizens. It's just the way it is, and we have to deal with them. And if we intervene early enough that we're able to educate them about how important education is and how important is it to abstain from drugs and abstain from alcohol and abstain from bad crowds, believe me, you'll see a diminish on people committing any type of crimes.
No, you're absolutely correct. And I see it because you've known, we've always dealt with kids and we've always dealt with youth, and we've tried to, not only in my school, I've had programs free for kids all over the place. And
Yeah, you're very instrumental here with
and-
the cyberbullying and the bullying itself.
and what happens is that we need to get, how can I say, I've always seen the parents. It always starts at the house. And somewhere along the line, they bring them to you and say, you discipline them. You're like, well, the discipline should start at the house. I mean, they're going to learn a discipline. But you know what I'm saying? So I think people confuse it. No, they're learning a discipline. But discipline, you should have it, your child. So we try to get these kids and kind of get them straight, kind of understand that they have to be there on time, kind of understand that they have to start learning respecting each other, and they change. You have some good individuals that have become product citizens here in the community. But there's something going on either at the parent level. I think we should start doing a parental class or something, or mandatory or something, There, and we might smile, but, we didn't grow up as parents. You know what I'm saying? We just ended up being parents.
And the opportunity is given a lot in parenting classes. Churches go out and do parenting classes before you have a child, and there's other organizations that have parenting classes. And for the most part, there are good parents out there. Thing is, we end up being more of a worker and being outside the house and then trying to bring in for the house that we forget about being there for the child. It takes a lot now to sit down and have a dinner every day with your children. And it goes out and the sacrifices one has to make in order to have that type of relationship with the child. Because there's other things that are getting to spend your time with. and either work or hobbies or groups that you end up doing. But at the end of the day, when the parent gets involved, either with sports, either with extracurricular activities, which might be dance or ballet or plays or acting, whatever extracurricular activity they end up doing, it's always going to be something that complements the way a parent is. So when a parent reaches out to you and help me with the discipline, it's basically asking you, you know what, I need some time for you to help me parent because at the end of the day, I don't have enough hours in the day.
No, you're absolutely correct, and that's seen throughout the United States. That's why you have large crowds with team sports and large crowds with certain elements, and that is taken. But I think, how can I say? I think if the schools, our city, and everybody come together, I think we can outreach a lot more. There's a lot of venues out there that are closed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And we have great people out there that can coach. We have great people out there, but they don't have the place or the time, no, the place to coach because everything's locked. And I think we all need to sit down together, you all in the municipal court, the other courts, boards, and sit down and say, you know what, let's open up all these venues.
Well, you want to increase the dialogue between
Sure.
the different agencies and the different venues in order to see what is it that can bring out and help the youth. Because at the end of the day, the youth are going to be the ones that are going to be the citizens of Laredo. They're going to be the ones that are going to be leading us in a few years.
Yeah,
And in a few years, there might be something very different. And we need to implement whatever we get to see, that's what we're going to be able to harvest. So the more we invest in our children, the better we're going to be off as a society.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. And that's what needs to happen. I think everybody needs to come down in a roundabout table and say, you know what, here's a problem. And we're all dealing with the same problems. We're all touching a child in the court this way, you all touch them in the court over here, the school has to discipline them over here. What's going on? Let's all sit down, and we're all fighting for the same goal.
We all live in
You know what I'm saying?
this community.
So they all literally have to sit down and say, okay, what's going to happen?
Yes, that's
And if
correct.
that doesn't happen, any preventative program is not going to work unless everybody comes together.
That's right.
Because
Everybody needs to work together.
I can count programs for people that are already have done the crime, have already got into drugs, and there's hundreds of them all over the place. But what are the preventive ones?
Well, the preventive ones usually are the ones that, like the one you do, the one
Sure.
in helping out the people and defending themselves.
Sure.
And there's other people that are doing basketball,
and so-
football,
those are the
baseball,
preventive
ballet.
ones.
Those are the preventive ones that I have not been able to organize to see how is it where we're together, we're able to change any gang color into school colors. And that's basically one of the goals that I've always wanted to see, people to be more involved in school and then for him not to be involved with gangs.
No, you're absolutely correct. Well, I want to thank you to come in.
Well, thank you, Paul.
And
I really appreciate it.
It was great stuff that you're trying to implement for the future of the court, and you know, and good luck for you. And let's hit it hard. And I know it's going to be a tough one, but vamos enfrente.
God willing, we'll be there.
And
Thank you, Paul.
and no, thank you. And for you guys out there, the weekend, hug your little ones, and be safe out there when you're driving. Quit texting and driving. We have a municipal court judge here.
That's right. Don't text and drive. And don't drink and drive either.
Peace.